What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back here for the last predicted lineup of the season. We have got Crystal Palace away at Selhurst Park on Sunday. I think it's about 4 o'clock kickoff. Shall we just make this video short because it's going to be the exact same lineup and it has been the last 3 games?
I think don't change the winning formula. I think Ed Mourinho is going to go with, in this game. Obviously, it's a big game. We need to get all 3 points and hope Wolves drop points against Chelsea to be guaranteed the Europa League place, that 6th place. I think we want it. We definitely want that 6th place because we don't want to be relying on Arsenal losing the cup final and any potential embarrassment.
Arsenal are definitely winning that cup final.
So I don't want to rely on that.
Especially if we finish 7th, Arsenal are 1,000,000% winning that cup
100%. 100 gives them extra motivation, doesn't it? And also, not only to give them extra motivation, it's like we've had it before with Chelsea. We needed them to lose a final and then Champions League.
It's so Spurs to need something from other teams like after the season's finished. I hate it.
The only benefit is that if we don't finish 6th, it probably means that Wolves won, which probably means Chelsea might be out the top 4, which means they might have extra motivation in a cup final. So I don't know, I'm clutching at straws here. We need to finish 6th. We need to finish 6th. We need that Europa League spot. And also, if we finish 6th, we avoid any stupid qualifiers, I believe. Yeah. Or I think we avoid at least two of them. I think
if we finish 6th, we might have to go into the last qualifying stage.
Yeah,
don't quote me on that. But let us know in the comments below.
I know 7's are 3 qualifiers. If we finish 7th,
yeah, but you know what? These qualifiers just act as early pre-seasons anyway.
It's true, but you just don't want that. I think you want to actually have a pre-season. You know what I mean? You don't want them to be competitive fixtures. You know, teams like West Ham been burned by them before and stuff. I know we're not West Ham, and they definitely won't happen to us. But it's just annoying.
Fucking goo.
But anyway, yeah, I think predict the lineup. I think it's going to be the same.
Yeah, exactly. Lloris in goal, Ben Davis left back, Aurier right back, Davinson but Dyer's back.
Dyer is back. No, Dyer and Dele both back. So I don't think Dele will start. But Dyer potentially instead of Sanchez.
I don't think he'll start. I still think it's going to be Toby and Sanchez. They've formed such a great partnership these last 3 games. It would be a shame to tear that apart.
But as I was saying before, I'd like to see the Toby and Dyer partnership. How they're going to do, because they started at Everton, they kept a clean sheet, and then obviously Dyer had his ban, and we've been pretty solid at the back since. But I don't know, because Dyer and Toby both can play on the ball, both are comfortable playing long balls over the top and stepping into midfield and stuff. So that's one I would like to see develop.
Yeah, but the thing is, Sanchez, he's doing all the right things at the moment. I think since Jose Mourinho come into the club, you've seen a massive change in Davinson Sanchez. Look, you've seen a massive change in Eric Dyer and Toby Alderweireld as well. So don't take that to light. But when you're talking about Davinson Sanchez, we have been calling on him to make these changes to his career since he's come to Spurs. We said he keeps making the same mistakes. These last 3 or 4 games, you can't fault him.
I agree with you. He is stepping up and he's cutting out the silly errors and the losses of concentration, which is the big thing.
And when you compare Dyer and Sanchez, when you're looking at who has the tools to be a top centre-back, you would say Sanchez more than Dyer. I
think Sanchez is a better defender than Dyer, but in terms of being a better centre-back overall, I don't know. I think Dyer, with his time in midfield, I think he could be a very good ball-playing centre-back. I think purely as a defender, we all know that Sanchez is his quality, physicality. You can't, but on the ball, I just still have question marks on him. Yeah. Even now, I still have big question marks on his ability on the ball.
But in the middle of the park, it's going to be Sissoko and Winks again, and potentially Giovanni Lo Celso in there, either there or a number 10 position.
Yeah, he'll be floating around. I think last game of the season, and he's obviously going to hopefully start out his injury at the end of the season. That's the only reason I think
doesn't have long.
It's the only reason I think maybe Dele could start. That's the only possibility, but I don't think he will. I think Gio will see out the season.
If not, I think he'll get taken off early, Gio, for Dele.
Yeah, it means that we have another attacking option on the bench, which is good for us. It's good for Dele as well to get some minutes before the season's out. And then, I think Lucas and Son again will start.
Yeah, exactly. Lucas and Son behind Kane.
Yeah.
Those 3 players have been absolutely sensational these last 3 games.
And they've really stepped up because obviously we haven't had a lot of possession, have we, in these past few games? It's been clear we've been playing quite defensive football. We've only really attacked when we can or when we're able to. And they've just been clinical. They've been so clinical and so with it, with creating chances when they can. Mourinho's always said, he said recently that it's not all when you don't have the ball, it's not always about not having control, but when you get the ball, you've got to know what you're doing with it. And you've got to be able to be clinical with the ball and know what you're doing when you get possession.
And you know what? You know who that tells with the most out of everyone is Lucas Moura, because, you know, how many times have we banged on about with Lucas Moura, end product, wasteful. How many times can we go on about it? And then since these last 3 or 4 games, he's added that end product to his game. I don't know which game it was. I think it was the Arsenal game in that first half.
Yeah, that was the first one.
Like, bloody hell. Like, how many times did he play Kane, like, through on goal pretty much in that first half?
About 2 or 3 times.
That's stuff we've never seen from Lucas Moura before.
And he's really upping his game. He really is stepping up. And the thing is with Lucas Moura is he can't afford to be wasteful now.
Yeah.
Like under Pochettino, maybe when we had dominating the ball, 60%, 70% possession some games, you can maybe afford to be wasteful in those positions because you get a lot of the ball. But when under Jose Mourinho, when you get the ball, you better do something with it because we might not be seeing it for another 10 minutes. So I think that's a big change in his game. And I think Son and Kane obviously have been so clinical in the past couple of weeks, and it's something that we're going to have to be next season if we're going to have games like against Leicester and like against Newcastle where we concede possession, but when we hit them on the counter, we have chances to score. So I'm been very impressed with them. They're pats on the back for how they performed.
Seeing as you know, just before lockdown, just after lockdown, no Spurs fan was excited for the end of the season. No Spurs fan were excited for next season. Do you think we've turned a tiny bit of a corner now and Spurs fans are actually getting excited for next season?
I think so. I think that this mini form has really going to give us momentum going into next season. If we can get a win against Palace, end the season on a good note, and hopefully finish in 6th position, don't have to worry about Europa League. I think there's a lot to be excited about. If we can get a couple new signings like Jose Mourinho's talking about, he's talking about they've targeted their signings early. They're already in good progress in the deals. Looks like Højbjerg's going to happen and maybe a couple more. Then I think there's plenty to be excited about. And because of the short turnaround, we'll talk about that in another video, because there's a short turnaround going into next season, the momentum is a big factor going into next season. It's really going to make a difference, I think. So if we can end the season with 5 wins out of 6, with the performances we're giving as well, it can really give us some positive momentum going into next season, and who knows what we can achieve. And we all know Jose Mourinho's mentality. He's a winner. He's not going to expect anything less than the best. So I'm excited to what we can do next season.
I'm completely 100% on board the Jose bandwagon. I am completely 100% on board now. I'm loving what I'm seeing the last 3 games. Yeah, it's not wave after wave attack like Pochettino's team was, but ultimately, look, we all know Pochettino's team didn't win anything, and Jose Mourinho's a born winner. So I think all the Spurs faithful need to just put their 100% trust in the guy.
I agree, and I think at the moment we are seeing our performances where we're sitting deep and hitting on the counter, but I truly believe it's not going to be like that every game. I truly believe at the moment we're just playing like this because our defence has been so poor and so error-strewn that he had to get that right. He just had to get that right before we do anything else. And, you know, in his other title-winning seasons, you know, there hasn't always been the case where every game Chelsea just sitting back and conceding possession. It hasn't always been the case. Sometimes we do attack and sometimes they do dominate, and it just depends on who we're playing. He always gears his tactics to the opposition. So, look, I think at the moment we've just got to be patient with the tactics. I think he's starting to work. He's definitely getting the defence right. And I think we're starting to really look clinical going forward. So I'm just excited with a few extra signings what this squad can achieve. Because I think there's serious quality in this squad.
Do you think there's anything to be made out of those stupid Jamie Redknapp comments saying, if it was played in front of a full White Hart Lane, a full Tottenham Stadium, and you're 3-0 up and you get 30% possession, you're going to get booed and all that?
I've never heard such bollocks. In my who has ever booed their team at 3-0 up? Who has ever done that in the history of football? Jamie Redknapp, he has a hump against Tottenham or something. Ever since we sacked Harry, ever since we sacked his dad, he's had something against us. He always has something negative to say.
Stand him.
He always has something negative to say about Spurs, and it's absolute bollocks that the Tottenham fans are not going to accept 30% possession in a game with 3-0 up in. Look, I think we want wins at the moment. We want victories. That's all we care about. And look at the goals we scored against Leicester. Look at some of the football we played when we got the chance to play football. It was really, really exciting. So I know it wasn't in the second half, we sat back and whatever, but I think when we got forward and we had the chances to get forward, we were playing some good football. Mm-hmm. And Kane's goal, we're going to boo it when he goes in.
No, you know what? Best performance since 16-17, but we're going to boo you.
I know, like, it's just ridiculous. I think we just care. At the moment, we're caring about victories, and I think it was a great performance against Leicester. I don't think there's nothing to be worried about there.
Last thing I want to touch on is Jan Vertonghen. Jose in his press conference refused to make a comment about his future. but it looks like it is going to be the end, I think.
Yeah, such a shame.
Yeah, it's a shame that he's going to be finishing his Spurs career with no fans in the stadium. That's the big shame. I really hope that once we get fans back in the stadium, they'll bring him out at half-time or something like that.
Yeah, I hope so.
And give him a proper send-off, because he really deserves it.
Yeah, 8 years at a club in modern-day football, it's a very rare thing, especially for a player who didn't come through our academy or anything.
Yeah.
So, and he's been such a great player for the club. Many, many years he's been one of our best players, if not he's been pretty consistent throughout the years as well. He's been such a classy defender, and yeah, maybe age has caught up with him a bit. But I think it'll be great to give him a send-off. I think he's such a lovable character. Like, everyone loves him around Spurs.
I personally think we should have signed him on an extra 1-year deal. You know, you can't hurt to have him around the club. You know, back up as well.
Yeah, I think I agree with that, and I think I wouldn't have minded it. But I don't know whether maybe Jan wanted a 2-year deal. I think, and there was discrepancies there. Maybe he can get better money somewhere else, or see out his career somewhere else, where he's more maybe guaranteed.
He'll probably go back to Ajax or something.
If he goes back to Ajax or he goes to Italy, maybe he's guaranteed more of a starting spot than at Spurs, because he's not guaranteed a starting spot anymore. So look, I can understand if he wants to leave or whatever the situation is. I think it's amicable, whatever happens, and it's a shame we're never going to see that Toby and Jan partnership again as one of the greats that Spurs have ever had.
We saw it the last time against Bournemouth. Was it Bournemouth?
Yeah. Clean sheet. I know we drew 0-0,
exactly.
but we got a clean sheet.
Exactly. The Rolls-Royce double ended off with the clean sheet, the Belgian barrier. But what score prediction are you going for?
I'm going to go for 2-0 Spurs.
2-0?
2-0 Spurs.
I went for 1-0. I think it's going to be... Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot tighter than a lot of people think. I think since Roy Hodgson kept the Palace team
you saw
locked
that
in the room, I just didn't like that. And
I did not like that.
And I feel Palace are really going to up their game this game.
I tweeted about that when I saw it. I was like, oh, of course this happens the game before Spurs. He has to lay into his team and get stuck in like, oh, of course they're going to up their game now. It's really annoying.
It's like
it's going to be tight.
7-8 losses in a row, and then you come up against Tottenham Hotspur. It feels a bit inevitable.
Classic Spurs. It's the perfect team you want to play when you're on 7 defeats in a row.
But having said that, I'm still going 1-0 Spurs. I think we'll 1-0 away at Palace is usually
if we draw and Wolves lose, that give us 6th. I think so on goal difference. I think we have a better goal difference.
I'm not too sure off the top of my head.
I think we have a better goal. Anyway, I think it's important we get 6th anyway. So I think it's a big game on Sunday, and hopefully we come out at the ending season well.
Alright, so there you have it. The predicted lineup is exactly the same for the past 3 games. These predicted lineup videos are getting a bit easy now with Jose Mourinho. But look, we'll see what happens next season. That is your last predicted lineup of the season. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always,
come on you Spurs.